It's happening again, folks. Just when you think you've seen it all in mixed martial arts, some wild idea from an ancient system pops up and makes everyone go, whoa, what is that? The latest buzz is sticky hands from Wing Chun. By 2026, this could shake up the close-range game. I've seen stuff come and go. Some of it is legit. Some of it is pure nonsense that gets exposed when a real wrestler grabs you. So where does this land? Game changer or fantasy? Let's break it down. Enjoying this breakdown so far? Please like and share to reach more martial arts enthusiasts like you. Picture this. Two fighters in the pocket, too close for big hooks. Fighter A, a traditional brawler, tries to create space. He shoves to fire a heavy right hand, but Fighter B doesn't resist. His arms just stick. Hands light, almost glued to the forearms. He redirects the push into a slight turn. A short, piston-like punch snaps the brawler's head back. The brawler tries to pull his arms back to guard, but they feel tangled, trapped, like wet spaghetti. Which method wins? Raw, explosive power, or subtle, sensitive control? It's not brute force, it's about feeling, timing, exploiting tiny gaps. This isn't just dojo talk anymore. MMA is a ruthless laboratory. It chews up techniques that fail under pressure, but it also adopts and evolves. Muay Thai brought the clinch. Muay Thai brought devastating leg kicks. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu turned the ground into submissions. Could sticky hands be the next piece of the puzzle? Could mastering sensitivity give a real advantage inside the cage? Look with an open mind and skepticism. The cage is the ultimate truth teller. So what is this sticky hands or chi sao thing really? Let's strip away the fancy words and get down to basics. It's a training method. It's a drill from the martial art of Wing Chun. The core idea is incredibly simple. Two people stand close and keep contact on each other's arms. You're not grabbing or squeezing hard. The touch is light like a sensor. The whole point is developing hypersensitivity to pressure and intention. You learn to feel movements a split second before they happen. It's about building a tactile reflex, not just relying on sight. First step, maintain that connection. One person pushes forward gently, the other yields, redirecting energy instead of blocking it. Think of it like a revolving door. Push one side, the whole thing turns. You don't stop force, you guide it. Hands and forearms in contact feed your brain constant info. You feel their muscles tense for a strike. You feel their weight shift for a takedown. It's a live data stream through your arms. Then you add simple attacks and defenses. One hand controls their arm, the other is free to strike. Strikes are short, strikes are straight, strikes are fast, not big, looping haymakers. One hand can trap or pin both of their arms briefly. That opens a clear line to the head or to the body. The goal is not to overpower, it's to outsmart their limbs and tie them up long enough to land a clean shot. A game of geometry and timing at high speed. Ultimately, sticky hands is about control. Control the space in front of you, the center line. Occupy that space and control their arms to shut down their primary weapons. They can't punch effectively if their arms are tangled or redirected. They can't set up a clean takedown if their posture is broken. Or if their hands are occupied. It turns chaotic close-range exchanges into situations where you're pulling the strings based on what you can feel. How could this ancient drill actually be useful in the modern high-stakes world of MMA? Let's look at the three main phases of a fight. Striking, the clinch, grappling. In the striking department, sticky hands isn't about throwing bombs from the outside. That's a completely different game. Its value appears when the distance closes. Imagine a fighter who is excellent at getting inside, past the kicks and long jabs. Once they're in the phone booth, sticky hands could allow them to trap an opponent's hand and land a series of short, sharp strikes. Short, sharp elbows, uppercuts. It's about creating openings where none seem to exist. Think about elite strikers using hand trapping to set up their strikes, or long-arm boxers framing to create openings with volume. Sticky hands is like a supercharged version of that. Instead of just parrying a punch and countering, you're sticking to that arm, feeling the opponent's next move, and smothering their follow-up. This could be devastating for a power puncher who relies on rhythm and combinations. You take away their rhythm, you take away their power. It's a subtle but potentially devastating advantage in a close-quarters brawl. Now, let's talk about the clinch. This is where sticky hands could really shine. The clinch in MMA is a battle of sensitivity and leverage. Fighters who are good at wrestling and Muay Thai already have a feel for this. But sticky hands training could add another layer of sophistication. It trains you to feel for subtle shifts in pressure through the arms and shoulders. You could feel an opponent setting up a trip or a knee and neutralize it instantly, or use that feeling to transition to a more dominant position of your own. It's about being one step ahead in the pummeling exchange. What about grappling and takedowns? Sticky hands is not a ground fighting system like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Its principles are designed for when you're on your feet. However, it could be a huge factor in the transitions. Most takedowns start with a hand fight to set up the shot. A fighter with elite sticky hand sensitivity might be able to shut down takedown attempts before they even begin by controlling the opponent's arms and posture. They could feel the level change coming and use that information to sprawl, circle out, or even counter with the knee. It's not about submitting someone on the ground, it's about dictating whether the fight even goes there in the first place. So how does this sticky hand stuff stack up against the skills we already know and respect in MMA? Let's compare it to the big three. Wrestling uses explosive power to control the hips and legs for takedowns. Sticky hands is different. It's about subtle upper body control, staying upright to tie you in knots. On the ground, BJJ is king, but on the feet, sticky hands can prevent the grips a BJJ player needs to pull you down. And while the Muay Thai clinch controls the head, sticky hands neutralizes the arms to break posture and create openings. It's a battle between controlling the head versus controlling the limbs. So it's not a replacement for any of these arts. That's the key thing to understand. A fighter who only knows sticky hands would get destroyed in a modern MMA fight. They get taken down by a wrestler submitted by a BJJ player or kicked into oblivion by a Muay Thai striker. The real potential lies in integration. Imagine a fighter with the footwork of a boxer, the takedown defense of a great wrestler, and the close range hand fighting sensitivity of a sticky hands master. That's a terrifying combination. It's about adding another tool to the toolbox, not throwing the whole toolbox away. For this to be more than just a cool theory, the training has to be brutal and realistic. The slow cooperative drills you see in a traditional Wing Chun school, the Kun, are just the starting point. That's like learning the alphabet. To make it work in a cage fight, you have to learn how to write poetry in a hurricane. The first step is to ramp up the speed and intensity. Fighters would need to practice sticky hands drills not at a polite control pace, but at full combat speed, with real intent and resistance. The goal is no longer just to feel and redirect, but to dominate and strike. Next, you have to add in the other elements of MMA. You can't just stand there playing patty cake with your arms. Your opponent could kick your legs out from under you, or they could shoot for a takedown. So, the training has to evolve. You'd have drills where one person is trying to use sticky hands to control and strike. The other is actively trying to clinch, or throw knees, or change levels for a double leg takedown. The sticky hands player has to learn to use their sensitivity to anticipate and counter all these different threats, not just punches. It's about making the drill alive and unpredictable. The gear also changes everything. Traditional sticky hands relies on skin-on-skin sensitivity. You can feel tiny muscle twitches through your hands, but in MMA, you're wearing 4-ounce gloves. That padding dulls the sensation. So fighters would need to adapt. They'd have to train extensively with gloves on, learning to read pressure and movement through the padded surface. This might mean the techniques become a little broader, a little less subtle, focusing more on trapping and pinning the entire forearm. Not delicate finger and wrist manipulations. The principles remain, but the application has to be modified for the reality of the equipment. Finally, it all has to be pressure tested in live sparring. There's no substitute for pressure testing against a resisting opponent. Sparring reveals what works when adrenaline and exhaustion set in. Fancy, intricate techniques often fail. But core principles, like trapping a hand to land a punch, are what survive. But even proven techniques face challenges in MMA. Bringing a new skill isn't just about whether it works, it's about whether it's allowed. While most sticky hands techniques are legal, referees will break up what they see as a stalemate. Control must immediately translate into aggressive action, a strike, a trip, or improving position, or the ref will nullify it. The skill has to evolve past its traditional form. It can't just be about defense and neutralization. The MMA version of sticky hands has to be weaponized. Every trap must lead to a strike. Every redirection must lead to an off-balancing movement that creates an opportunity. The goal isn't just to win the hand fight, it's to use the hand fight to win the round. This requires a mindset shift away from flow, away from sensitivity, toward a results-driven approach for professional combat sports. It's a tough but necessary adaptation. Section 7, the skeptic's corner limits and counter-arguments. Now let's be real and play devil's advocate. There are a lot of smart people who think this whole sticky hands in MMA thing is a pipe dream. The biggest and most obvious counter-argument is that it's a specialized skill for a very specific range. MMA is a game of all ranges. But what good is fancy hand trapping against a head kick or a takedown? Sticky hands operates in the pocket, but top fighters are masters of range. Another limit is the sheer chaos of an MMA fight. Can you maintain delicate sensitivity when someone is trying to take your head off? Plus, mastering it takes years. Is that time better spent on essential MMA skills like wrestling or jiu-jitsu? Finally, skeptics point to the lack of evidence. Until a pure sticky hand specialist dominates in the UFC, it remains a theory. Section 8, the 2026 forecast, a balanced prediction. So what's the verdict? Will we see fighters using sticky hands to win championships by 2026? Let's be realistic. The idea that Wing Chun is going to suddenly take over MMA is a fantasy. It's not going to replace wrestling or BJJ as a foundational skill. The sport is too diverse, and the established disciplines are too effective. A fighter who neglects these core skills in favor of sticky hands will have a very short and painful career. That's just a fact. You cannot win in modern MMA without a deep understanding of grappling and a solid striking base. Section 9, the final word why you should be watching. So where does this leave us? My final thought is this: keep an open mind and pay attention. The beauty of MMA is its constant evolution. The sport is a living, breathing thing. New ideas are its lifeblood. Dismissing sticky hands because it's old or looks different is a mistake, but hyping it as an unstoppable force without proof is foolish. Watch, learn. Wait for the evidence that only a real fight can provide. Coaches and fighters, be curious. Don't dedicate your entire camp to it. Spend a few hours exploring basic drills. See if sensitivity training sharpens your clinch reflexes. Test it in light sparring, see if concepts stick. Even a 1% hand fighting edge can decide a close fight. The greatest fighters were innovators. They borrowed from anywhere for an edge. Fans, watch with a more educated eye. When fighters are locked in the clinch, don't call it stalling. Look closer, see who controls whose hands. Look for subtle traps. Look for redirections. Appreciate the chess match in that tiny space. The more you understand, the more you appreciate the skill and intelligence. It's not just a brawl. It's a high-speed physical argument. Every technique is part of that conversation. Whether sticky hands becomes a footnote or a new chapter is up to fighters who try it. A fascinating what-if that adds intrigue to the sport. Don't just cheer for the knockout. Don't just cheer for the submission. Watch for the innovation. Watch for the craft. The next big thing might not be a thunderous haymaker. It might be the quiet, brilliant touch of a well-timed trap. Keep your eyes on the hands. If you enjoyed this content, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment below on what content that you are interested in viewing. See you at the next video on your screen.